Welcome back to our channel. We've got a piping hot story to unravel today. Picture this. It's 2021, and Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, sits down for a tell-all interview with the Queen of talk shows, Oprah Winfrey. Meghan reveals shocking details about her life as a royal, including allegations of racism, neglect of her mental health, and a deep sense of betrayal. It was a watershed moment, a royal breaking her silence, and it sent shockwaves around the world. But not everyone was sympathetic. Enter Piers Morgan, a man known for his controversial takes and, at the time, a presenter on Good Morning Britain. Instead of addressing the substantial allegations Meghan made, he dismissed them. He shrugged off her claims, even going so far as to say he didn't believe she struggled with suicidal thoughts. It was a startling display of disbelief and dismissal live on morning television. This dismissal didn't sit well with viewers. It sparked a wave of outrage and led to over 57,000 complaints to OFCOM, the UK's communications regulator. It became the most complained about moment in UK television history. People were appalled, not just at Piers Morgan's dismissal of a woman's mental health struggles, but at the blatant disregard for a woman of colour's experience with racism. And yet, the controversy was just beginning. Because after all those complaints, after all the voices raised in protest, OFCOM ruled that Good Morning Britain didn't breach broadcasting rules. A ruling that left many stunned and others asking, does this mean it's okay to dismiss someone's experiences just because they're uncomfortable or inconvenient to hear? But the story doesn't end there. Far from it. This controversy would continue to unfold, taking new turns and sparking more debates about race, mental health, and the role of the media. And at the heart of it all stood Meghan Markle, a woman who dared to speak her truth, and Piers Morgan, a man who refused to believe her. This dismissal led to an unprecedented number of complaints to OFCOM, and thus the controversy began. Now, here's where things get really interesting. The controversy following Meghan Markle's revealing interview with Oprah Winfrey didn't just end with Piers Morgan's dismissive comments on Good Morning Britain. The aftermath was just as shocking, if not more. After Morgan's comments, the UK's communications regulator OFCOM was inundated with over 57,000 complaints, marking this incident as the most complained about moment in UK television history. But hold on to your seats, folks, because the real surprise was yet to come. Instead of reprimanding Morgan for his dismissive comments about Markle's mental health struggles, OFCOM ruled that Good Morning Britain didn't breach broadcasting rules. Yes, you heard that right. Despite the public outcry, OFCOM sided with Morgan and the show, and of course Piers Morgan, being Piers Morgan, saw this as an opportunity for self-promotion. Calling the ruling a resounding victory, he claimed it as proof of his right to free speech. According to him, it validated his right to express his controversial opinions, no matter how dismissive or damaging they might be. But the ruling was met with a heavy backlash, especially from those who understood the harmful implications of such a decision. The outrage was palpable, and many saw this as a green light for public figures to dismiss and belittle the struggles of individuals, specifically those of marginalised backgrounds. Morgan's victory lap, however, was far from the end of this saga. The controversy was far from over, and the ruling only served to stoke the flames of an already heated debate. Was this truly a victory for free speech, or a blatant disregard for the experiences and struggles of a black woman? The controversy continued, and the reactions were just as, if not more, intense than the ruling itself. Enter Dr. Shola, a woman who refuses to be silenced. An attorney, political and women's rights activist, she is known for her strength, her wit, and her unwavering commitment to justice. When the OFCOM ruling hit the headlines, she was quick to voice her stance. Dr. Shola saw the ruling as a whitewash, a decision that glossed over the harmful implications of Piers Morgan's comments. She wasn't just critiquing a single ruling, but the systemic bias that allowed such a ruling to be made. In her own words, she said, "It's not just about Piers Morgan. The media's complicity in perpetuating racism and misogyny is on trial here." And she didn't stop there. She took the conversation to the Jeremy Vine show, where she elaborated on her viewpoint with her characteristic intellectual rigour and emotional honesty. Dr. Shola argued that the ruling sent a dangerous message, that it is acceptable to publicly dismiss a black woman's mental health struggles. She highlighted how this ruling could be seen as an endorsement of racism, misogyny and bullying, masquerading as free speech. She was not just defending Meghan Markle, she was challenging a system that often vilifies outspoken women, particularly women of colour. She was standing up against a narrative that seeks to silence those who dare to speak their truth, especially when their truth challenges the status quo. Dr. Shola Moshogbamimu's reaction to the ruling was a powerful reminder of the urgent need for change. She called for a more conscientious approach to public discourse, one that acknowledges the impact of words and the responsibility that comes with a public platform. In the face of a ruling that many saw as a victory for free speech, Dr. Shola dared to ask, at what cost? She reminded us that freedom of speech should never be used as a cover for hate speech or bullying. And she wasn't just sticking up for Meghan, she was speaking for all women who have been vilified by the media. This controversy is about more than just one interview. It's about the larger narrative that is being allowed to play out unchecked. You see, when OFCOM ruled in favour of Piers Morgan, they inadvertently set a precedent that says it's okay to dismiss and belittle the experiences of others, especially if those experiences revolve around mental health struggles, racism and sexism. This ruling has implications that extend far beyond the realm of daytime television. It's about the message that's being sent to society at large. It says that it's okay for influential figures in the media to publicly dismiss the struggles of a black woman dealing with mental health issues. It sends a signal that it's acceptable to disregard the experiences of those who face racism and sexism on a daily basis. What's more, this ruling brings to light the age-old issue of free speech and its boundaries. Yes, free speech is a fundamental right, but does it give one a free pass to spread hate, racism, misogyny and bullying? Where do we draw the line between expressing an opinion and causing harm? This controversy isn't just about Meghan Markle or Piers Morgan. It's about every woman who has ever been silenced, every person of colour who has ever been disregarded, every individual who has ever been bullied. It's about who gets to control the narrative and who gets to decide what is acceptable to say in public discourse. The UK media has a long history of vilifying outspoken women, particularly black women. This ruling, in essence, gave the green light for more of the same. It allows racism, misogyny and bullying to continue under the guise of free speech. So we're left with a question. Was the OFCOM ruling fair, or was it indeed a whitewash? Was it a just decision, or was it another instance of the media protecting its own while enabling the vilification of others? These are questions we need to ponder, and these are conversations we need to have. Now we want to hear from you. This conversation is far from over, folks. It's time to bring it into the open, to the forefront of our collective consciousness. The media's treatment of outspoken women, particularly those of colour, is an issue that affects us all. It shapes the narratives we consume, the beliefs we hold, and the society we live in. Let's keep this dialogue alive and thriving. Do you think the OFCOM ruling was fair, or do you agree with Dr. Shola's assertion that it was a whitewash? How do you feel about Piers Morgan's dismissal of Meghan Markle's experiences? And more importantly, what do you believe this says about the state of our media landscape? These questions aren't rhetorical. We genuinely want to know. So we invite you to share your thoughts, your perspectives, your insights. Let the comment section below become a space for respectful, thoughtful, and meaningful discussion. We have an opportunity to not just observe, but to actively participate in shaping the discourse around these pertinent issues. And while you're at it, why not take a moment to think about the women in your own life? How are they treated when they speak their truth? How can we, as individuals and as a society, do better? The power of conversation is immense. It spurs change, fosters understanding, and builds bridges. But it requires us to listen, to engage, to question. So let's not shy away from these difficult conversations. Let's embrace them with open minds and open hearts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated with our deep dives into the truth behind the headlines. Stay informed, stay engaged, and see you in the next video.